Hi, my name is Jared and I'm 29 years old. I currently live in Orange County, California, and I work for a catering facility here in the Orange County area. So that's a little bit about me. I'm was diagnosed on the spectrum at 18 months of age. Being somebody on the spectrum, you have a different perspective on things and it's harder to do certain things versus someone who's not neurodivergent. I remember before the cells, I was a senior in high school and, I had academic and social difficulties a lot. And I remember there were times that I remember I just didn't really care. There was so much I didn't care about because I felt like, I just felt like life was working against me. The first time I came to Panama was literally exactly 10 years ago. My parents discovered this clinic in Panama that, specializes in stem cells. And, one of the big treatments that these stem cells target is for individuals with autism. We flew out to Panama the day after I graduated high school. We came back to the States and just the physical differences, I lost weight, but I think even it just my body language, that alone was a big thing that I could I think I was more aware and I could maintain conversations with people. I was taking on more responsibility. I lost 40 pounds after I first got stem cells. And so I remember I was doing things like riding my bike and just trying to get out more. And even people in my class and in high school, in my senior class, people started noticing changes oh, look at him. He's doing this now. He's actually interested in the conversation. Some of the things people noticed is, I think one of the things I noticed was, I think people were less frustrated with me. Because I think before people were really frustrated that I needed so much help with things they're oh, how do you not understand this? I just told you this. And someone would tell me something and then minutes later or a day later or however much time later, depending on what it was, I just wasn't able to accumulate information the same way I was after I got cells. I think I was definitely better at accumulating information and paying attention to things. And it was still a struggle, don't get me wrong. There were things about it where it's okay, this is still kind of a problem for me, but it was so much better than what it was previous to cells. I remember I just didn't even feel like I was the same person months later after I got the first round of cells 10 years ago. I mean, it changed my life in ways that I couldn't imagine life without these cells. But then 4 years later, in I think it was late May of 2019, we went a second time, my mother and I. And I remember, again, I was becoming more responsible and, taking on more accountability in my life. It gave me kind of a different perspective on life. It really changed the way I look at things once again. I think had I not gotten the stem cells, I think I probably would have been in a much worse place during that time because that was 6 years ago and then just went a month ago in May of this year. And I'm already seeing changes. I think in the last 4 weeks since I got the cells, I think the big thing I've noticed is that I've really stopped obsessing over relationships to the extent that I have. I think that I've been able to sort of let go and be okay, I'm 29, people come and go, and it hurts sometimes when you lose a friend because, hello, we're human, but I think that I've developed a more healthier perspective on it. And the reason I decided to share my story is because, it's been 10 years since I first got stem cells, and I feel as though now that I have enough integrity and responsibility and accountability to be able to share my story with whoever sees this. I don't want people going through what I went through. I went through things that I would not wish on anybody, and this was these cells were almost a brand new life for me. I hope that anyone going through what I went through can get the right treatment, and I cannot recommend this treatment enough. I don't recall any risks that happened in my story. Not saying, again, I can only speak on my own personal experience, do your own research at the end of the day. Do what you feel is necessary. Hey, this was me before, this is me now. It's because of these cells, and yes, other treatments, therapy, so to speak. I want to you know, because when I tell people this story, they're simply blown away. I'm living a life that I never would have imagined I'd be living.